hypnosis previous to this?
I've once experienced a stage hypnosis. I found that very interesting.
Yeah. Did like a stage hypnosis show?
Yeah, I was a part of it.
Okay. Was the experience pleasant?
Yes, very much so. I experienced things like an arm levitation or being stuck in place, and I found it very fascinating.
It was a good experience.
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Well, let's see. You're seated in a good, comfortable position. Let me just start off. I'm going to read a few comments too, and just get you oriented, and then I'll give you a chance if you have any other questions to ask me. Emmett, this is a scale to measure your ability to experience hypnosis and to respond to hypnotic suggestions. It's a standardized scale, and therefore I will be reading from these papers. You may occasionally hear me writing or hear the sound of things outside this room, and you can pay as much or as little attention to those things as you wish. The best way to determine a person's ability to experience hypnosis is to complete a hypnotic induction. This will involve your focusing your attention on the spot. After your eyes close, I will give you some hypnotic suggestions. Now, it's just important to just respond to what you are feeling and experiencing. There is nothing that you have to do and nothing that you have to try to do. Just allow yourself to respond to whatever you experience. Not everyone experiences the same things, and not everyone is equally hypnotizable. At times during hypnosis, I will ask you to verbally describe what you are feeling and experiencing. You'll be able to do so without interrupting your experience of hypnosis. As you listen to my words, just let whatever happens happen, so we can see how you experience hypnosis and how we can learn to make hypnosis work best for you. Do you have any questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay, very good. Now, you'll notice there's a small table in front of you with a white top. I'll be referencing this table a little bit later. And if you would just bring your arms straight out in front of you and just bring them to come down to rest on the arms of the chair. That's perfect. All right. Now, please roll your eyes upward and focus on the spot on the ceiling. That's right. Now, focus on that spot so intently that everything else begins to fade into the background more and more. Good. Now, just take a breath of air and hold it for a moment. Hold, and as you exhale, allow your eyelids to close normally and naturally. Good. Now allow your body to relax. Notice a wave of relaxation spreading from the top of your head down to your feet, letting all the tension go. Head, neck, shoulders, relax. Arms and legs, relax. As you enter a hypnotic state, finding a calm, relaxed feeling. More calm, more at ease. Comfortable and calm. So that now, as I count the numbers from 10 down to 1, with each number that I count, going into an even deeper state of hypnosis. 10. A wave of relaxation spreading across your forehead, across your neck and shoulders. 9. More relaxed. Your jaw goes slack, shoulders slack, and arms become very relaxed. 8. That wave of relaxation now spreads across your back, your upper back, lower back, deeply relaxed. 7. A deeper level of hypnosis now as your legs become very relaxed, letting all the tension go, feeling calm, feeling more peaceful. 6. Entering such a deep level of hypnosis now,
YouTube ads is
or floating sensation, just drifting and floating deeper and deeper into this hypnotic state. 5. Deeply calm and deeply hypnotized. 4. Now allowing that calmness to become even more complete and entering the deepest level of hypnosis. 3. So deeply hypnotized that you're able to respond to each suggestion and each experience, each thing that I suggest. 2. Calm and peaceful, so deeply relaxed. Any tension that has remained is released now. 1. All the way deeply hypnotized, calm and peaceful. And it's possible to feel a special sense of calmness, and you will be able to experience and respond to each suggestion during hypnosis today. Just listen to my voice and let whatever happens, happen, so we can see how you experience hypnosis. Now, remain deeply calm. You will soon become aware of a change in sensation in your right arm and hand. Soon you will notice that your right arm will become very, very heavy, just as heavy as lead. That heavy feeling begins to occur now. That arm becomes heavier and heavier. And as this occurs, it can feel as if the arm were less a part of you, as you allow it to become as heavy as lead. And now that arm will become even heavier. so very heavy that you will find you cannot lift this right arm. No matter how hard you try to raise it will be too heavy to lift. And finding that you just don't want to lift it. In fact, the harder you try, the heavier your arm and the hand will become. And now the arm, the wrist, the hand, and even the fingers have become stuck to the chair. They just won't move. They are so very heavy. Now, as this hand and arm remain as heavy as lead and too heavy to lift, I want you in a moment to try to lift them, but they will not move. The arm, the wrist, and the hand, and even the fingers are stuck to the chair and too heavy to move. Go ahead and try to lift them. Genuinely try, but they are just stuck to the chair. They're too heavy. Very good. Now allow your arm to relax. This heavy feeling passes, and the right hand and the arm rests. Normal sensation returns. And as this occurs, going into an even deeper level of hypnosis. Now, as you go into an even deeper level of hypnosis, you will soon become aware of a change in sensation in your left arm and hand. Soon you will notice your left arm and hand will become very, very light. Light and weightless. Just as light as a feather. That light feeling begins to occur now. It becomes lighter and lighter. And as this occurs, it can feel as if the arm will become less a part of you as you allow it to become light and weightless. And now there's a ribbon around the left wrist. At the other end of that ribbon are several balloons. Red, yellow, green, blue, all different colors. There are quite a few of them. 4, 5 balloons. And these balloons are lighter than air. And they begin to float upward. And as they do, the left hand begins to float upward. Just notice the balloons are tugging, pulling, lifting the wrist up, up, up. It just drifts and floats up, feeling lighter and lighter, floating up higher and higher. Just allowing the arm to float up all by itself, just as high as it wants to go, floating up now, higher and higher. Very good. Now this feeling happens, and your hand and arm begin to drift downward to a comfortable resting position. Drifting down to a comfortable resting position. Good. Good. The balloons are gone. Normal sensation returns to your arm and hand. And as this occurs, even deeper level of hypnosis. So that now something very interesting is going to happen. It's possible to hear my voice with one part of your mind, and with another part of your mind find that you are in a different place. Soon you will find you are no longer in this room, and instead you will be in a beautiful flower garden. And when this occurs, you will be able to see everything there. You will experience every sight, sound, smell, and feeling in this garden. When this occurs, you will find that you are no longer here, and instead,
As an owner of Walton Goggins
now, as you hear my voice, at the same time, seeing before you a gate that leads into the flower garden. Seeing the gate now, and as I count from 1 to 4, you will find that you are walking through the gate and into the flower garden. More than just imagining, soon you will feel that you are in a flower garden, walking through the garden. 1, going through the gate. 2, as you go into the garden, you can see the flowers over there. 3, able to continue to hear my voice as you are there, experiencing every sight, sound, smell, and feeling in this flower garden. 4, now you are there. You are in a flower garden. Good. It's a warm day, and yet you can feel a gentle, cool breeze in the air. It's very pleasant, feeling safe, secure, and relaxed. Before you is a path. As you walk down this path, notice there are flowers all along the path. The grass is very green, and there are many beautiful flowers. Now, notice the colors of the flowers, whether you see red, yellow, or any other colors. There is a beautiful red rose. You can see this rose. Now stopping there for a moment, go close enough to smell the wonderful sweet aroma of this beautiful rose. The aroma of the rose becomes stronger now. It's a pleasant smell. Now take a breath and just smell the rose. And notice how strong the smell is. Now, as you are there, you can describe what you're experiencing without interrupting your experience of hypnosis. Please describe what you're experiencing. Where are you? You're in a garden. What do you see around you? You see flowers and trees. Do you see the rose? Do you smell the rose? Very good. Now, returning back to this room in this present time, the present place, as you remain deeply hypnotized, now walking back through that day, returning to the present time and back to the present place. You are now here block on the table in front of you. A little square block. The kind of a block a child might play with, sitting on the table. The kind of a block a child might play with. Just really see it in your mind. And in a moment, open your eyes. You will see the block on the table. Alright, now as I count from 1 to 3, I will ask you to open your eyes. You will remain deeply hypnotized and you will see a small blue block on the table in front of you. Some people see the block right away, while others see more of a blue color, a shape or a shadow at first. 1. Beginning to open your eyes. 2. Eyelids opening. 3. Eyes open now. Now look the table in front of you. Just continue to return. And notice what you see now on the table. Just really look at it and notice whatever you see. What do you see? Shadow. Do you see the block? You see a shadow. What color is it? How would you describe the shadow? Shadow line. Alright. Now, very good. Allow your eyelids to close and go into an even deeper state of hypnosis. Deeply relaxed and feeling calm and relaxed. Now, while remaining in a deep state of hypnosis, you can hear my voice and all the suggestions that I give to you. In a few moments, I would suggest that you return to conscious alertness. However, when you return to alertness, you will find that you are not able to recall any of the things that happened during the hypnosis session tonight. You've been so deeply absorbed in experiencing hypnosis that you'll have a great deal of difficulty recalling any of the suggestions that I gave you and the things you experienced. In fact, the harder you try, the more difficult it will be to recall these things. It will be much easier to just forget. You will not be able to recall anything about the hypnosis session today. It will seem like there's a wall between you and the memory. Just allow this to occur. So the wall is there now. And you will find that you just don't want to remember at all. You will not be able to recall anything that happened during hypnosis today until you hear me say these words. Now you can recall everything. Then the wall is gone. And then you will be able to recall all of these words. Now, as I count from 1 to 10, you will return to alertness. Alright. Returning to conscious alertness now. 1, 2, 3, beginning to return to conscious alertness. 4, 5, more alert, eyes beginning to open. 6, 7, eyes opening, returning to alertness. 8, 9, alert, fresh. And 10, fully alert. Do you feel alert? Very good. I want All right. Now, listen carefully to what I'm going to say next. Now, you can recall everything. What do you recall now?
With overload becoming heavy.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you about a few of those experiences. Earlier, when I
Parents, we
suggested
still need
that
more
your right arm
donations.
and hand would
Bill?
feel heavy,
Hey, Bill, do you have a
and
second?
then I
Oh, man.
suggested they would be too heavy to
Where's your
lift.
mother now? Because I could try.
I want to find
Wanna
out
get away?
what your experience
Now you can with
was
Southwest
when I
fares as low as
suggested your right
$49
arm
one
and
way.
hand would feel heavy. Did you feel a sense of heaviness in the right arm and hand? Did they feel heavy? Good. Did you try to lift your hand and arm?
Yes, definitely.
Were they too heavy to lift? Did they feel stuck?
Felt very tensed up.
They tensed up.
And so I almost caused it to shake a little, but I couldn't.
You couldn't move it. Is that right? Very good. Now, earlier I asked you to experience a light, weightless feeling in your left arm and that the arm would lift all by itself. Did your arm feel lighter?
Yes.
And did it float up all by itself without any willful effort on your part?
Yes. Felt like there was a ribbon right around here, so it kind of pulled, causing the hand and the arm to bend a little right here.
It just kind of floated up in that way. Very good. And what about earlier I asked you to experience going for a walk in a flower garden? Were you able to experience what I suggested, or were you just listening to my voice?
The experiences were less specific than what you suggested, but I felt things such as footsteps, sounds, colors, different images moving around.
So you could have different images. Did you, in a sense, feel that you were in a flower garden?
Yes, because I didn't feel like I was in this room anymore.
You didn't feel like you were in this room. You felt that you were in a different place. And I asked you, suggested you could smell a rose. Did you smell the aroma of the rose? And how distinct or how strong was the aroma?
So it was strong. Less strong.
Like, if you compared it to an actual rose, was it distinct or was it more faint than an actual rose?
I'd say faint.
A little more faint. Very good. And also earlier I asked you to experience seeing a small blue block on the table in front of you. What did you see on the table? Did you see anything?
I only see shadowy shapes on the table, but before I realized blue colors started to move behind my eyes, and I could see those pretty clearly.
You could kind of see the blue colors, and then when you opened your eyes, you could see kind of a shadow shape. Is that right? And could you determine color, or was it just kind of a vague, like the blue was at first, but then that went away? Very good. All right. And Emmett, that completes our test and examination. Anything that you would like to comment on? Any questions that you have? How was the experience today? Anything that stood out to you that you liked or you did?
The arm meditation was a pleasant feeling for sure. And I enjoyed that the most since it was just sort of me not having to act at all. Just my own acting on its own.
Just felt kind of automatic and it felt pleasant. What about going through the flower garden? What was your experience with that? Was that pleasant as well?
It was sort of not thinking about anything, but just experiencing a wave of different sensations, be it hearing or sight or sound.
You know, and in the garden, the rose, you said you could smell it. It was kind of a faint experience. Would you say this? I'm just curious a little more about your experience in the rose. Like, see scent arose.
Yeah, the famous form started to take shape in my mind. Like it started to be there. Stand out and smell their shapes and colors. But perhaps I didn't smell it right away.
Couldn't smell it quite right away, but then there was kind of a faint aroma. Is that correct? Very good. Was that pleasant? Did you feel relaxed during this process?
Definitely.
Definitely.
It's still a little heavy.
Yeah. You're smiling. Is it because it was pleasant, or what do you notice?
It was very relaxing. I feel refreshed now.
Good. Whenever I suggested the block outside, was that pleasant as well? I mean, did that seem calm for you, or how would you describe it?
Where's your playlist taking?
Do you believe in fate? Not necessarily some divine concept of a group of gals cutting gilded thread, but just the idea that in life you can be destined to do or become something. That there is a certain path you're on, and if you do everything right, you'll achieve some life of greatness you were supposed to have. It can often seem a bit of an aged term these days, since we really only often hear of fate and destiny and myth and gallant tales of knights and queens, but on some base level you may believe it. You may believe that there is luck and fate and karma within the world, and your life is tied to a specific roadmap that you've yet to know. Sometimes we feel this due to societal expectations, familial plans for the next generation, or even just private desires. But that begs the question, what benefit do you get from believing in a concept like fate? A sense of security, I suppose, that things will be how they're meant to be, but alternatively, what do you lose? Well, when you look at life as a sort of set-in-stone ideal, you can definitely become driven by and obsessed with what you think needs to happen for the right outcomes to occur, rather than just kind of experiencing life and responding to those experiences as they happen. Many a legend of old ran into just that trap of fate and obsession, but then why do we still love to be obsessed? It seems often life is made out to be an all-or-nothing game where you must obsess over getting the right outcome. Maybe that's because life's finite, and we can often worry that we're doing it wrong and wasting our lives, but before we get too introspective and metaphysical, let me better demonstrate what I'm getting at with today's movie, 2007's Meet the Robinsons. So come along with me and explore the importance of taking risks, the dangers of obsession, the value of failure, and how this utopian view of the future is actually a demonstration of why you will never truly become who you thought you'd be. Yeah, there's not really a lighthearted way to say that, but hey, come on, it'll be fun! So to start, it's worth talking a bit about the insanity that is this movie's plot and how it came to be, though it's also important to know that I'm not going to argue to you that Meet the Robinsons is an underrated Disney film of the 2000s. I actually think it's near perfectly rated, sitting somewhere between a 68% critical and 74% audience score. That isn't to say that I think it's a bad movie, though. I'm a fan of this movie. It has that hopeful, carefree funness about it that I think was lost in the 2010s somewhere. It's the kind of bright future movie that defined the new millennium. It has charm, wit, and for the most part, a serviceable plot. Now, does it completely fall apart in the third act, becoming somewhat nonsensical and pointless for the sake of wrapping up the story in a tight 90 minutes? Yes, but it also explores some really interesting and complex ideas, or, well, it alludes to them. And that's what I want to talk about today, and use this video to explore those ideas. And if you're asking yourself, Nap, what gives you the right to talk about this movie and take swings at what you think it's saying, huh? Yeah, that's right. I bet you didn't know I was cool like that I was in the trenches for this movie, and often forgot about certified classic, magnum opus of movie tie-in games. Nintendo Gamer even said it was, quote, one of those not at all interesting ideas. And IGN raved, saying a really surprising game in the sense that it doesn't completely suck, so yeah. Oh man, is this one of those times where you find out that your childhood games no one actually liked or played? Well, at least I know everybody loved Ratatouille for the Game Boy, right? Right? Anyway, my credentials aside, the movie finds its origins as a trio of ideas, and I'll summarize them as a quote, a book, and a catchphrase. The quote part most people are already familiar with, as it appears at the end of the film, but interestingly, what appears at the end is an edited version of it. The original quote is supposedly from a speech Walt Disney actually gave at WED Enterprises, originally Ratlaw Enterprises, and the original holding company for what would become the Walt Disney Company. And the quote in full was, "There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting. At WED, we call it Imagineering, the blending of creative imagination with technical know-how." Off the bat, it is a bit of a different quote than what's at the end of the movie, but more so in delivery rather than intent, changing up some of the language, but I actually kind of like the original quote better. I think it speaks more to the inventor and futurist Lewis is meant to be cast as in the movie, and it also feels more like a real phrase out of a speech rather than something cut together to fit the movie's narrative. And it speaks more to the sense of curiosity and risk-taking that the movie's trying to promote, highlighting that to move a project or an idea forward, you kind of need to balance your approach and be curious about alternatives. You can't let yourself get bogged down in tunnel vision. If a house is on fire and you're focused too much on finding the door, you won't notice an open window. The idea that you ought to consider alternatives in pursuit of your goals and that you should be flexible in your ways of thinking is definitely not original to this movie, but it is seen throughout it, from Lewis shifting and pivoting on his designs of his memory scanner all the way to how Lewis outthinks his enemy to overcome Doris, the evil bowler hat robot. He constantly blends the creative with the technical. Arguably, as a character, Lewis is the embodiment of Imagineering, which makes perfect sense given the city he creates his name Todayland, subtle as a gun, and a clear nod to Epcot and Walt's very own Tomorrowland. Because in many ways, this film is a love letter to the utopian hopes Walt Disney espoused. Whether or not you personally feel Walt was genuine, or if you feel the utopian promise was just kind of a marketing scheme, I do think it's interesting to get this new age peek into Walt's vision, specifically from John Lasseter's perspective and the nostalgia-laden perspective the Disney company seemed to have for itself in the new millennium. Because this movie came out during a time when internally Disney was changing, not just in leadership with Lasseter, but in how they would approach things, releasing just 2 years before Disney would fully turn away from their 2D animation studio in 2009, right after Princess and the Frog, which is an odd dichotomy of simultaneously trying to keep this perception of Disney magic and Walt Disney under glass as like this everlasting nostalgic mosaic versus embracing new technologies and economic philosophies as a corporation. Somewhat ironically, the stylistic choices Disney made to evoke the classic 50s and 60s futurist style, whilst using the new and modern animation techniques of 3D animation, kinda gives the whole movie a sort of plastic shininess. It can cynically be read as the movie having this baked-in fakeness about the whole thing, as it feels it's missing the grit that the style's originators like Flash Gordon or 1927's Metropolis or other futurist pulp fiction films had out of necessity, but that the modern version can forgo out of convenience and in favor of greater profit, as it would cost more to bother animating in the grit and blemishes that came inherently with the inspiring works, which, if you're embracing the ideals of the quote that appears in the movie, is fine, but arguably ignores the intent of the original quote, which implied a need to balance creative and artistic value in projects and animation with technical capabilities of the future. Imagineering isn't just moving forward, after all. But hey, the quote ain't the movie. There's nothing about wacky family hijinks, octopus butlers, or bowler hats in that quote. No, that part of the story was very loosely based on a children's book, A Day with Wilbur Robinson. It's kind of incredible, actually, how much the movie used that book for its characters, while adding some additional stakes to the plot. I mean, the characters almost all come from this cute little picture book, some being one-for-one